Okay, I had just uploaded the video on how to make your own double point needles in larger sizes using bamboo and Sculpey clay. And now these are wood pieces. I had put a video up yesterday about repurposing old shovel handles. These are the snow shovel handle that I've cut into 4 double points, and these are from my father's garden shovel. The only problem I'm running into with these, and let's talk about these first, this is hickory. It's very hard to cut. It's a very dense hardwood. I started to cut the tip, but you'll see I couldn't get the wood out of the shovel all the way, so this was all the wood I had. Was right here is the whole section of handle. And if I cut both ends to a tip, I'm going to have a needle that's about 2 inches long. So what I was going to do is go ahead and cut those tips, but on one end I was going to fit it with the tip being able to accept aquarium tubing. So I started this today, and I ran into a little bit of a problem yesterday. I cut my finger badly, and you have to be careful. You know, this was my dad's shovel, and I think I got excited yesterday, and I'm like, oh, this is just like Dad, we're here, because he and I used to have these projects going all the time. And he would always be the one that would say, put it in a vise, don't try to hold it. And what am I doing but I'm using my kitchen stool, got my knee up on the piece of wood, and I'm sawing away, and the saw jumped and sliced my finger open. It's the first time in all my years of carving, which are many, many years, that I've ever cut my finger like that. So, needless to say, today when I did this, I wore my Kevlar glove on my left hand. I was sawing with my right hand, and I used my vise to hold the wood. But even with doing that, my vise is holding the wood right about here. So you can see that once I cut one end, and then I turn it around to cut the other end and put it in the vise, there's not very much for the vise to hold on to. So I started to get a little frustrated that they're so short. So these are a little bit on hold. But if I do continue to make these are size 70. They're 35 millimeters. If I do decide to make them, they're obviously not going to be double points. I will probably just take the 2 longest pieces, which are right here, and make tips on either end and use them as a circular with aquarium tubing. Now, with the snow shovel handle, I had much better luck. I was able to get all of it out of there, and you can see I have 4 double points that are each about 8.5 inches long. Now, and then up here those are basswood pieces that I happen to have. Those are size 36, and I left those a little bit square, but those are another set that I have carved. Now these, I want you to notice how short I have the tips. This is maple. These aren't done yet, but I just cut the beginning of the tips. These also aren't completely finished, but they're almost there. I keep the tips that short. They do work. I've made things with those basswood. This is commercial. They're basics by knit. I forget. They're the basics needles. Knitter's Pride. Basics. See how long the tip is compared to that one? Now, the reason I left mine short, the stitches were sliding right off of these. And on these were 36. I was using 5 strands of yarn, and I tried to have 10 stitches on there, and at the most I could work 6 because the other 4 were falling off the ends of the needle. So I left my points a little bit shorter, And what happens is the needles are just as smooth, but there isn't this, very narrow shoulder where they can just slide off. They tend to stay on. So that's something you'll have to think about, depending on how you knit, how you carve, what you want the needle for, how long they are. These, being 8.5 inches long, are going to be, these are size 50, and I'm probably going to have to use about 8 or 9 strands of yarn. So I'm thinking, again, about 6 stitches on there, if I'm lucky. So you have to consider all of that when you're